So during this time, a fellow by the name of Josh Feigenbaum from MJI, he owned MJI, and he would come in a sweater vest and khaki pants and tennis shoes, and hair was a little longer. It was pretty straight-laced in those days.
Okay. So,
not like today.
All right.
And I enjoyed him very much. He was a funny guy and had some interesting properties. And I said, what does your boss think about the way you dress?
Right.
You know, like sort of not allowed here at BBDO. And he said, girl, I am the boss. I own it. I went, oh, geez, I didn't know.
Benztown President Dave Chachi Dennis loves radio and all of his radio friends.
Hey, Chachi.
Hey, everybody.
Because Chachi loves everybody.
She began her career in advertising at BBDO, learning the fundamentals of media, planning, and buying, but didn't take long before radio pulled her in. That passion led her to MJI Broadcasting, where she would spend nearly 2 decades helping transform a small company of just 5 people into an industry powerhouse of more than 150 employees. Along the way, she played a key role in securing the exclusive radio rights to some of country music's biggest events, including the Country Music Awards and the CMA Music Festival. When MJI was acquired by Premier Radio Networks in 1999, she joined the company and quickly rose to the ranks. Over the next 2 decades, she helped shape the modern syndicated radio landscape, overseeing affiliate growth for shows hosted by Glenn Beck, Elvis Duran, Steve Harvey, George Norrie, Fox Sports Radio, and many others. Eventually, she would become president of Premier Networks, overseeing more than 100 radio programs and services heard by 250 million listeners each month across more than 8,000 radio stations. Along the way, she's been recognized across the industry, including being honored as a giant of broadcasting by the Library of American Broadcasting Foundation. She's been a regular presence on the Radio Inc. list of the most powerful people in radio. Her leadership has earned her an induction into the Radio Hall of Fame. Today, we're joined by one of the most influential leaders in history of broadcast radio, Julie Talbott.
Oh, what a lovely introduction. I'd forgotten a lot of those things. So thank you very much for reminding me.
What a tremendous career. And I want to first thank you. We are at NAB at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Indeed. My feet are hurting.
The ENCO booth. And thank you for taking the time. Tell me a little bit about growing up.
Oh, I'm a small town girl in Kentucky. Southern girl, town of 5,000. I don't remember anything bad about it. You know, I'm the youngest of 6 kids, loving parents, playmates across the street all day long. And I just really loved my youth and growing up. And in fact, we kept the family house, and I've never had a different Christmas in my life. And my brothers and sisters and their children have never had a different Christmas. We all meet in this small town, no matter what part of the world we're in.
I know you're on the road a lot, but it's still very dear to you.
Oh, it is. It is, so many great memories. And while I, haven't lived there full time for a really long time, a lot of the families have stayed the same, and it's a bourbon town. And we got a lot of good friends after a few bourbons.
I got to go to the Kentucky State Broadcasters Association, and I was blown away at what a phenomenal job they do and what a beautiful state it is. I'd never spent any time there, and just getting to drive through it truly is a beautiful part of the world.
You know what? It's a small town state, and it's just made up of all kinds of little small town villages and cities, and it's very hospitable. And it's got beautiful knobs and rolling hills and lots of horses and lots of bourbon.
And you and Steve Newberry.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We're sort of from different parts of the state, but we become friends throughout.
Now, growing up, was radio or broadcast anything that you were interested in?
So my family had a small town bank, and, that's really where we did a lot of our summer work and running through the bank when we shouldn't have been.
Like a bank, like a financial institution.
Yes, but small town.
Okay.
Right. It was started by my great-grandfather. A local dentist in town owned the station.
Okay.
And we just dropped by there anytime we wanted and give an update on what the sports scores were. But no, I never thought of it as a career until I really had the opportunity in New York.
And tell me a bit about, you went and stayed and did school in the University of Kentucky.
So graduated from the University of Kentucky, and my dad was very adamant that if you went to college in Kentucky. Then you had to spend 1 year in New York so that you would come back and kiss the ground you grew up on. So that's what we did.
So you graduated. What was that like going from Kentucky and all of a sudden ending up in New York City?
I am the youngest of 6 and many of my brothers and sisters have been there. I had visited a lot while they were there. And so it was exciting. It was scary.
But you had some experience.
I had some experience there, and I still had a sister that was there with her husband. And so it wasn't like I was just going cold turkey.
Now, did you go straight away into Columbia to study business, or did you wait a little bit of time?
I waited. I was at BBDO advertising for a while, and then when the radio buyer, Natalie Sweat, I don't know if anybody remembers that name. Was very powerful. She went out on maternity leave, and my boss came up and said, "We don't really do any network radio, but I'm going to put it under somebody. So let's put it under you."
Oh, wow. So how did you get into BBDO?
Oh, I just interviewed.
Okay. But at that point, you just saw like an available position. Was advertising something you were interested in?
Well, when I came to New York, I came for a bank training program. And I had a month before that started.
I see.
Or before I thought it was going to start. And my brother-in-law said, "You don't know what you want to do. You're 21 years old. What the heck are you doing?" And so he knew friends in the ad business and he knew friends in other businesses. And I just went on interviews. And I think when you believe you have a job, lots of jobs come your way.
Right. So you had some confidence growing up.
I did.
Was there pressure from your family, like your father, to stay in banking or in finance, or were they pretty open to you?
The only thing is if you make a commitment, you should stay there.
I see. Got it.
And banking, everybody's wearing blue suits and little bow ties. And I get into the advertising interviews and Gene DeWitt's smoking a cigar, his feet up on the desk. View of New York City was like, I got to be here.
So you could feel the excitement.
I did.
Was BBDO located off of Madison?
It was.
So you were right in the thick of it.
Yes,
then.
It was right there on Madison, and it was just really exciting times.
What was it like, at that time in the business, certainly in the middle of the biggest city in North America?
They were hiring college kids to evaluate this new medium called MTV.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Well, Pittman and I definitely crossed paths.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's wild.
Oh, it was really funny.
So at BBDO, Natalie, you had mentioned her name?
Natalie Sweat. Yes. She was a great friend and she was the network radio guru.
And then she left and
she was on maternity leave.
On maternity leave. I apologize.
So I was like, oh my gosh. And all of a sudden, like 10 huge budgets came in,
right.
Gillette and everything was like, oh, you guys, I have no idea.
And they just threw that at you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
But I, because I had been doing some television and network television, and the vibe was just so different. Everybody was there, was like, don't worry, we're going to help you. And so everybody was really helpful. And I had a great boss in those days. And he was like, we'll get through this together,
That side of the business is one that I unfortunately don't understand that well. But when a huge ad comes in, a huge buy from Gillette, what becomes your responsibility then at the agency side?
Oh, the first thing is, we talk to the client and all the planning groups to find out what they're really trying to achieve.
Okay.
BBDO was very strategy oriented in those days. And so everybody would get together and we crossed planning and account management and buying all together in those days. And then we called every one of the networks in those days.
Right.
And they came in. I just told them what we were trying to achieve and what we were overall looking for. And everybody would come in and make a pitch. And I had no idea what they were talking about. It was just great.
That's amazing. So they would come in like the nuncio I know you work with. So the nuncio of that time would come and
yes,
make his pitch.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And were you at that point, because you're obviously it's new and it's a new space, did you just kind of, act as if you knew what you were doing?
No. I said, okay, guys, I have no idea what I'm doing, but one day I'm really going to know. So make sure you tell me everything straight.
So you stay at BBDO for about 5 years. And then how does MJI come into the mix?
Oh, this is a great story. So during this time, a fellow by the name of Josh Feigenbaum from MJI, he owned MJI, and he would come in a sweater vest and khaki pants and tennis shoes, and hair was a little longer. It was pretty straight-laced in those days.
Okay. So,
not like today.
All right.
And I enjoyed him very much. He was a funny guy and had some interesting properties. And I said, what does your boss think about the way you dress?
Right.
Sort of not allowed here at BBDO. And he said, girl, I am the boss. I own it. I went, oh, geez, I didn't know. And so we ended up partnering together. And when I went to join his company, there were 5 people. And when we left, there were 150 and we're part of in those days, Clear Channel umbrella.
That's wild.
I know.
So you guys met early on. He obviously saw that you were a rising star. Had you continued on with the network side of the business when Julie came back, or?
So when Natalie came back.
Natalie, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. When Natalie came back, I have a sister, so my father called us interchangeable names.
Okay.
So that's all good, Chachi. All good.
It's been a long day. My apology.
Ridiculous. No, she took that back over, but but I, continued to help her wherever she needed it.
Got it. So you had that experience by that point.
I did.
Really, ready to go. And so he saw in you and you guys.
We just hit it off. He was a funny guy and I had a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit in me. And I thought, okay, I've really loved this big corporation, BBDO, a lot. And so when Josh says, why don't you come over? Why don't we do something together? And I went, I like that idea. And went home and I told my husband that I'm going to leave BBDO. And he goes, what are you talking about?
Right.
You got a great career path here. They love you. I hope they love me. He said they did. But at any rate, I didn't see it that way. We didn't have any children at that point.
Right.
We were young. It was so exciting. It was really exciting.
So MJI, were you solely radio or did you guys dip
that
into
was totally radio. We just had a couple of properties and then, we got the rights for the Country Music Association Awards and the CMA Festival and Jeff Foxworthy and some other things that, put us in the game.
I see. Yeah. I see. And what was your day to day at MJI? I'm sure it changed from when you went from 5 to 150.
We did everything.
Right.
I was the COO and Josh was the CEO and we did everything except sweep the floor.
Right.
we answered phones. We did, we did everything. We hired people. We were doing it all.
And what were you guys doing at that point in terms of, it was obviously special because it exploded. Was there a secret sauce that you guys were doing different?
Josh was incredibly creative. He was and very likable. He was the original producer of King Biscuit Flour Hour. And so, he had been associated with King Biscuit Flour.
Right.
I don't know if he was the original producer. And so he just loved to create things. And so I think his imagination and coming up with products and services and shows, and I knocked on doors of ad agencies and clients, and we just made it happen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so you go on to have a tremendous amount of success. And then a few years later, I guess 14 years later, Premier acquires you.
So interestingly enough, Premier and MJI were competitors.
Sure.
In the marketplace. And a few months before Clear Channel, to become iHeart, purchased MJI, they purchased Premier. And so then Lowry Mays and Mark and Randall, they purchased MJI and they folded us into the Premier umbrella.
I see.
So it's really funny being competitors and then being one company.
Right. That's
and my boss was Craig Kitchen.
Whoa. So and
we were competitors all those years. We liked each other though.
At that point, the landscape, I know there was like Jones Radio, Westwood One. Who were some of the other networks at that point?
It was, it was still CBS and
I
ABC.
see. I see. Right. So the big.
It was really, those were the players.
The huge, okay.
Yeah.
What was that like when you guys came together? Was there a difference in cultures?
Well, we loved being an independent creative shop, syndicator, but that's when consolidation was starting to happen. We knew CBS, we knew Clear Channel had the ability to maybe hear one of our creative ideas and just copy it.
Sure.
And they had the stations and we needed to get affiliation. So we knew we were going to have to join one of the companies.
Was it bittersweet I would imagine, most people don't go on to sell their company. As you know, that's very rare. And it was
bittersweet.
Was there also celebratory?
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. It was bittersweet because we had to prepare to get ready to be sold. We had to get our lives and our finances in order, et cetera. And it happened pretty quickly. And there were, a couple folks that were interested in us. And so when it happened, we loved the Mays family. And so it's just great.
And did you have at that point, any thought like, I could retire and I'm going to go down and do something different, or you knew this was something you wanted to stay?
That's the same question people are asking me today.
Yeah.
No, I have no interest in retiring. I have a lot of energy and I love this business. Yeah. I really love it.
So you were, even then, you're just, this is something,
Yes.
Yeah. I remember Johnny Kay had told me when he didn't sell a business, but it was a different era and he did incredibly well. And he had said, now I don't, this is a bad word, but to get to a point where you have FU money.
Yes.
And it gives you a different perspective on how it just kind of changes your perspective. You can really be more true to yourself and true to what you want to do and make the decisions that you want to make. Did that happen for you, or was it?
It happened to Josh.
Okay.
1 year later, he just couldn't handle reporting into anybody.
I see.
Yeah, I really didn't care.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't bother me at all.
You've always had such, ever since I've known you, this just amazing magnetism in terms of your personality, and you really seem to get along well with people. So
love people. It's all good. New opportunities.
Yeah.
So I just looked at it as a great opportunity.
And so the cultures merged well, and
very well.
Now you're off and running with this combined network.
Yeah.
At that point, are you now the biggest?
Well, yes, we were. So that was really fun. And then we had Clear Channel's money behind us so we could really expand and take on new talent. And that was really exciting, not to have to write all those checks.
Right. In the early days of this now combined premiere, what were some of your key shows then?
Let's see. Rush Limbaugh was a pretty monster. They've all run together, Chachi.
I
don't know when Ryan Seacrest joined. There was Rick Dees. There have been so many.
Sure, Phil Henry.
Yeah, Phil Henry, of course. And I still love seeing and listening to Phil.
So many just remarkable talent. Was Jim Rome at that point too?
Yes,
Jim Rome. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And still to this day, you're stable of talent. It truly is incredible.
Well, I think when you are the number one syndicator, you have a responsibility to the industry to say, what are we bringing to, our partners in crime at the, local radio stations? And it would have to be someone they couldn't afford locally.
Right.
So we have always tried to get the Steve Harveys of the world and, or the Breakfast Club or, whomever in every single Delilah. So it's always been important for us to have the number one personality in every single format.
And I remember that was a huge, because Delilah, I think, was at Jones, and I remember when you guys were able to bring her over. And what
Greg Kitchen did that.
Yes, I remember being at that. It was here in Vegas at the Bellagio. I remember there being a party. Yes. That was a lot of fun. So in 2003, you are promoted to EVP of Affiliate Relations of Premiere.
Okay. They didn't really know what to do with us.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, that's the one thing I've never done. So yeah, I'll take that. And that was really fun because I think that changed my perspective on radio because I got to know all the broadcasters, and that was so fun for me I really didn't know them. I didn't know them when I was at BBDO. It just because that was more local radio and I didn't have that expertise.
And I think that's one of the things that makes you such a tremendous leader is that you've got the agency side experience. You've got the network side. So at the agency level, you dealt with the clients like Gillette. At the network level, in the early days at MGI, you were dealing with the agencies,
right,
but from the network perspective. And then you get the full experience of the other way around, dealing with the affiliates.
Yeah.
And so you're so well-rounded.
Yeah. So that was really fun for me. I've always loved the diversity of experience.
Did you find that you gravitated to one side of the business more than the other, or you just were all in?
Even at Premier, even at being the largest one, we all did whatever we need, we needed to do.
Yeah, sure.
So did a lot of, did a lot of ad sales, did a lot of client holding hands, did a lot of affiliate sales. We did whatever we needed to do.
And then in 2009, you were promoted to the president and content and affiliate relations at Premier. And so you're now, I think that's when, was that Charlie Riley stepped away at that point?
Charlie Riley stepped away.
So Craig left, then Charlie Riley came in, and then, okay. Yeah. And what was that? I knew Charlie, so I feel totally fine. I remember Charlie one time, this was years ago, because he was my boss at Clear Shot in Los Angeles, and he had a mole removed on his chest, and a buddy saw him at the gym, and he said, what happened there, Charlie? Did you have heart surgery? Did you have your heart removed?
Poor Charlie.
He found that very funny. He told that joke, but Charlie was very financially minded.
He was. I learned so much from Charlie. It was a difficult time and he had to make difficult decisions. But from my perspective, he couldn't have been a better boss.
And that was a different in terms of, because you had Craig who had been there early, and then Charlie to some degree was a bit of an outsider that came from the O&O side of the business.
Right.
And
I've always had great bosses. Let's say that. Charlie was really very, very financially oriented.
Right.
And I learned a lot from him on really how to evaluate everything that we were doing.
And now taking over that position, and look, they're both Craig, Charlie,
amazing
titans in the business.
People,
What was that like to be put into that role, and in a very challenging time in the business? 2009, we were in the throes of the financial recession.
Jump in. Jump in and go. Don't stop. Don't look back. Just keep moving forward. And it was really fun. We made it fun. And for me, even today, I have so many of the MJI folks still working with me.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right. Oh, gosh. My number 2 is Jen Limegruber.
Oh, and Jen was originally from...
Oh, yeah. Jen,
amazing.
Yeah. So,
that's incredible.
And I won't start naming names because there's so many that are still there for me. Yeah.
Well, it's really, truly a family.
Yeah.
And then you start to expand. So not only are you overseeing Premier, but now you take over start to oversee Total Traffic and Weather Network and the 24/7 News Network. So did those all kind of naturally fold in, if you will? Or
all were networks, and it sort of made sense to fold them under the Premier umbrella.
I see.
And I had known Chris Berry for a long time when he was at local radio, and I got to know Kevin Loftus and Jack Dunkel, and they're such good people, such hard workers, and they knew their business so well that they could just teach me, and they were happy to teach me, which was really nice.
So, and you're that type of leader that likes to not only, I guess, roll up your sleeves, if you will, but it sounds like you're very open to the culture and wanting to learn. You don't come in with a preset notions of how something should be.
No, I think, I think the way, if we need to make changes, we really talk it through, but I'm not going to make recommendations till I truly understand how things are working, et cetera. And, when we make changes, we do them together.
Let's go into some of the awards, and then I'm going to have a few more questions. But list of awards are truly outstanding. Talkers Magazine, you were awarded the Judy Jarvis Memorial Award, a Woman of the Year. You received the Ward L. Qual Leadership Award, is that right? From the Broadcasters Foundation of America. You've received the Ashwood Award from Talk Show Boot Camp, the Trailblazer Award from the MIW. You've been honored by the Giants of Broadcasting, by the LABF, I should say, with the Giants of Broadcasting Award. Where do you keep all of these? 2 more, and we'll dive in. You were inducted in the University of Kentucky College of Business and Economics Hall of Fame, and then also just last year inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame. I mean, that is
such an honor, and again, I heard somebody say this today and it really hit home, and it was like, okay, I'm the one getting the award, but it's really everybody that is working with me deserves it because they allow me to do great things because they probably brought me the idea. And I went, I love that. Let's go.
Let's chat. I want to talk about Columbia because when did you go to Columbia? I mean, that's really impressive. Ivy League school.
Well, when I went to MJI.
Right.
And we were growing, Josh and I both felt that, for us to get to the next level, we needed some kind of real marketing and strategy, and Columbia had an executive program, and so that was really...
So you were essentially getting your MBA while you were a COO of a company and raising a family or beginning to raise a family.
Oh yeah, my husband didn't speak to me for a while. He worked on Wall Street, so he totally didn't. Yeah,
let's talk a little bit about today. Fill me in on a day in your life. Like, what does that look like?
Well, you don't want to know today.
Yeah, well, yes.
You don't want to know. On the West Coast, it's 4 a.m.
And a day in Las Vegas is 2 weeks anywhere else.
I usually start the day with our head of ad sales, Alan Korowitz, and he and I just talk about what we are seeing for the day, what the marketplace is looking like, etc. There are just a million things that go on during the day, and it might be new talent coming in, or it might be we've got an opportunity to change something in a show and dress it up a little bit and meet with some additional affiliates. And
so you're truly involved in all aspects. You'll talk to Jen about programming moves, and obviously your start came from the sales side, and so you're
I
involved
started in sales,
but will you deal with a program director? Will they sometimes?
Yeah. I haven't seen him. Where are you, Greg Strassel? I know you're here at this NAB. Do
you deal with the talent much?
I do.
There was a big outpouring of them I was at the Radio Hall of Fame, and I know John Jay and Rich were there, and several of
you. I was like, oh, you guys. I know you have to get up at 4:00 in the morning. I'm so sorry. I think how lucky we are at Premier and part of iHeart to have really the most incredible talent. And because we're big, we don't have to put up with assholes.
Let's talk about the industry. It's challenging right now from the network side and the local side, but you and I are network people. Yep. And I think we have so much going for us as an industry and, the efficiency and everything that we offer. But what do you think we can do to really sell that more to the age, or try to explain that more to the agencies?
Well, one of the things that really, it continuously comes up when people say, oh, I feel like radio is on the decline. And I said, what you're thinking about is a transmitter radio or a radio in your home. It is just different distribution. Somebody said, my kids don't listen to the radio. And I said, well, what do they listen to? Call them up, find out. What do they listen to? One of them said, he listens to Elvis Duran. I went, that is radio.
Right.
So I think radio has evolved. The product is still incredible. It's just distributed in lots of different ways.
There's a lot of excitement here about Xperi and AutoStage and some of the advancements that they've made. I got to see a demo of that yesterday with Juan. Do you think there's a time where we can start to share that data with the agencies and where AutoStage
Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. We really have to ensure that the data that we receive feels right, and so that they have all of the broadcasters having a chance to use it and look at it and feel good about it. And then, yes, let's go.
I was really impressed just by, I guess, the CUME numbers. They dove into the Dallas market for me, and, you're looking at hundreds of active sessions, every few minutes on, the big stations there. Really big numbers.
Listen, we have to be open to everything. We have to be open to everything and keep moving. And yes, I think that provides us an opportunity. Let's try it. in the meantime, maybe something else will come on top of that, and another idea and another idea. And I think Joe D'Angelo will come up with 10 other new ideas. It'll be perfect.
You're a legend in this business. You are just so well respected, and I'm sure you have a lot of talent that come to you and they want to be the next Ryan Seacrest or John Jay and Rich or any. What do you say to them, and what's some advice that you could share with them?
I think that it's a wonderful thing to be a big fish in a small pond. I love being from a small town. I loved being able to make an impact in a smaller environment. And I think that is something that people should embrace. And sometimes it's just not meant to be. But if you really want to be national, there's a huge podcast platform. And it's, that's certainly one way to do that. But it's not for everybody, and it doesn't mean you aren't as talented or as good. It's just on air, there's limited space.
Yeah. And I think we get asked that question a lot.
All the time.
It's tough. I remember how long it took to get started and to grow the business. And it's, one station at a time. And
it is just one little step at a time.
Yeah. A lot of students here with the BEA, which I love seeing. And the career fair was really well attended. Big props to Heather Burks. What do you tell students that are similar question I just asked you, but a little bit different, that students that are looking to get into broadcasting and they're coming into an environment where it's a little scary? There's a lot of AI. We certainly have some economic challenges. What would be some advice that you would share with them?
Never been more excited about this business. Challenging, yes, but never been more excited. There are so many avenues of distribution, and that is really exciting. You get to make great content, distribute it in different ways. We just need to monetize better. That's the challenge we're having.
I asked, and was shared with me a few professors, our friend Wally, the students in his class have been down on AI. They really are very sensitive to, in his particular students, about the IP and the, potential theft of IP. And I was actually really kind of, I guess, I don't know, happy to hear that, but I was not what I was expecting. I thought they would have a different perspective.
Gen Zers are very angry about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was really interesting.
Yeah.
And so,
for me, there are a few administrators anymore in our business. And so I view AI as an administrative tool.
Yeah.
And so I always challenge the folks in my departments to say, what are the 3 tasks that are taking up too much of your time, that are keeping you from your primary role? Okay, so let's identify those and let's talk to somebody that really knows how to use AI and see if that can't reduce the grunt work that you're doing. So that's how I see AI right now. I want it as an administrative tool, not to replace anything, not to come up with different ideas. You've got to check every single thing it ever prints out.
Got one bonus question for you. You've had some remarkable mentors along the way. Could you share one piece of advice that one of your mentors taught you?
I've had so many that I think you have to just decide what you want and talk to as many people as you can, and then lay out the path and go for it. My dad always said, work harder than anybody else. And that's the advice I took. And that's what I give to people all the time.
Julie Talbott, thank you so much for taking the time. It's really
Chachi, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Chachi Loves Everybody. If you like the show, we hope you'll leave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends. Make sure to follow on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. This has been a Benztown McVeigh podcast production. Hosted and researched by Dave Chachi Dennis. Engineered by Darren Silva. Produced and edited by Jake Urbanik. Show coordinator Suzanne Aksu and Robbie Gessel.